Hello and welcome back to the PNN. This is Parker Taft. Today is day 4 of our 30-day challenge, and today we'll be discussing the art of goal setting, that a critical part of any person's life. So, first off, what are goals? So, based on the dictionary definition, goals are an object of a person or group's effort or ambition, the desired outcome from applied effort. Basically, something that you work towards in hopes of achieving. Why do we set goals? Into hopes to better our own livelihoods, to make ourselves better than who we were previously. Someone works out, they want to get stronger. Someone starts a business. Most likely they want to make money or provide a service in a particular industry. Someone goes out and starts a charity. They want to help the community. So why do we need goals? Why do we need them in our lives? Well, basically they provide direction and purpose in our lives. Without goals, we'd just be eating, sleeping, using the facilities, and basically just laying about. We'd be like sloths. We would have no direction or purpose, nothing to guide our energy and ambition. It would dissipate. It's like a steam engine. You have a boiling pot of water, but you have no cover on it, so all the steam is released. But if you put a cover on it and channel the steam through a thin pipe, it can do tremendous mechanical power. Goal setting is a lot like that. Without them, all our energy and ambition would just evaporate into the air. But with goals, we narrowly define our energy and our efforts to achieve a specific set of ambitions and ideals. So, what are the two types of goals? Well, there are short-term, which cover within a few days, weeks, months, even a year. Good examples are losing weight, saving for a car, finding a job. But long-term goals are more out into the future. This involves, a couple years, between 3 to 10 years, or it can even be lifelong goals, stuff that you strive throughout your entire life. Good examples are saving for retirement, getting married, having kids, among other things. Today we'll be talking about short-term goal setting, and specifically how to set short-term goals. We'll talk about long-term goals later on down the road, but the system I'm going to show you today can be used for both short-term and long-term goals. So, moving on swiftly, how to set goals. Well, there's really an effective system that can help you in your goal setting. It's the SMART acronym. You always want to set SMART goals, meaning specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, i.e. having a time limit. So we're going to go in and define each of these terms and how you can apply it to your goal setting. First off, we have specific. The better and more specific your goals, the better off you'll be. Science has shown that if you narrowly define what you're hoping to achieve, you're more likely to achieve it than if you have a broad, more obscure or opaque goal in mind. A good example would be you have a broad goal, which actually would be labeled more of a desire. I want $1,000,000 or I want a huge house. Well, that really doesn't define what you're trying to achieve. The more definite you are, the easier it is to measure how you're progressing in your goal and how far you are away from achieving it. So again, remember, be specific, very specific. Don't be minutely specific down to the exact umpteenth detail, but be as specific as you can possibly be within the realm of reason. Next, you have measurable. All goals must be measurable in order so you, A, don't get discouraged, and B, you can measure your progress as you go along. So, like a ruler here, you should set a time limit and specific checkpoints along the way. And I personally, when working on goals, I write in my journal every night, or at least I try every night, to write down what I've done to work towards my goals in that particular day. It provides me a sort of self-check-in and milestones and helps me re-gear and shift back towards how I can achieve my goals in the most efficient and effective manner possible. You then have attainable. All goals have to be somewhat realistic, especially short-term goals. If you're not going to start going from being a couch potato to being a bodybuilder or the president of the United States in 2 or 3 weeks, that takes some time, sometimes years of time. Another important thing is that, is it attainable within your time span? You can't lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. That would be a bit absurd, and I would advise you to go see a doctor. So instead, maybe you should break up that goal into maybe losing 1 pound a week over a 100-week period or something like that. And I'm going to the extreme here just to emphasize a point. Then we have relevancy. Is the goal relevant for what you want to achieve? You shouldn't be, planning to run for public office or start a business if you really don't want to. A good example here would be setting goals to run for president or start a tech startup when your true passion is dog walking or underwater basket weaving or even, playing musical instruments. So instead, you should base your goals on what is relevant to you at that particular point in your life and what you're most focused on and have the deepest desire to pursue. And an important fact here, and this should be involved in every aspect of your life, is don't let anyone tell you what your goals should be. You should set your own goals. When we're younger, our parents often set goals for us that they hope we can achieve in order to better our lives, which is all good when you're young. But, turning 15, 16 onwards, you should start setting your own goals in life and, setting and directing yourself along the path you hope to choose as you become an adult. Then there's time-based. This ties back in with the measurable portion. Basically, it gives you an endpoint, a light at the end of the tunnel from which you can, direct your efforts towards. A good example would be I'm going to set a goal to lose 10 pounds in a month. A bit of a stretch, but not totally unreasonable. So by the end of that month's time, or throughout the month, you can look and see how far you've progressed, and you can measure your achievement, as well as giving you some extra incentive to get out there and work towards your goal, rather than just lay on the couch and if you set a goal and say, oh, I'm setting a goal, I'm going to read 100 books, and you don't set a time limit for yourself on that, you really don't have any motivation to move forward in pursuit of that goal. So that's it for today. I'd like to point out the primary source I used for this broadcast, which was The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Also, there's some good YouTube videos and articles online, which I would suggest for some further reading. Thank you again for joining us on day 4. I hope your 30-day challenge goals are going well. If you like this video, please like, and if you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, leave that in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. This is the PNN Broadcast, signing off.